My name is Zara, and I used to believe that everyone deserved a second chance, until I met Layla. Layla wasn't always my best friend, but she became someone I couldn't imagine living without. She was the kind of person who lit up a room with her presence, effortlessly funny and magnetic. I admired her boldness, her charisma, her ability to own every space she entered, but beneath her charm was a sharp edge I never noticed, until it started cutting me. It began subtly, like a whisper of poison. "You're so lucky you don't have to work hard to look good," she'd say with a smile, her words coated in sugary venom. "I wish I could get away with being less ambitious like you." I laughed it off, thinking it was just Layla being Layla. She had a habit of speaking her mind. After all, it wasn't until I got a promotion at work, a position I'd worked tirelessly for, that her comments turned sharper. "Wow, Zara," she said over coffee one afternoon. "I mean, good for you, but don't you think they're just trying to fill a diversity quota?" My stomach twisted, but I forced a smile. I like to think they promoted me for my qualifications. "Of course," she said, sipping her latte. "I just know how companies can be sometimes." The insinuation hung in the air like a bad smell. I told myself I was being oversensitive, that I was overthinking it, but the comments didn't stop. They multiplied, spreading through our conversations like weeds. The tipping point came when my mother passed away. Losing her felt like losing a piece of myself. She had been my anchor, my guiding star, and without her, I drifted. Layla, ever present, insisted on helping me plan the funeral. "You need me," she said, taking charge of the arrangements. "I'll handle everything." At first, I was grateful. She was a whirlwind of efficiency, organizing the service, coordinating with relatives, even choosing my mother's favorite flowers for the altar. But then I started hearing whispers. Relatives murmured about how Layla was boasting about saving my family during our time of need. Someone even told me she'd called me helpless and too fragile to cope. I confronted her one evening, my voice trembling with anger. "Why would you say those things about me?" Layla's eyes widened in mock innocence. "Who told you that?" "It doesn't matter who told me," I snapped. "Is it true?" She hesitated for just a fraction of a second before shaking her head. "Zara, you're being paranoid. I was just trying to help. If people misunderstood, that's on them, not me." Her words stung, but I swallowed my anger. After all, she had helped me, hadn't she? She'd been there when I needed someone. I convinced myself I owed her my forgiveness. The final betrayal came months later. On the night of my birthday, Layla insisted on throwing me a party, and I reluctantly agreed. I had been in a fragile place, still mourning my mother, and I wasn't ready for a celebration. But Layla insisted. "You need to live a little," she said, dragging me out of my comfort zone. The party was lavish, over the top, and everything I didn't want. Layla was the center of attention, basking in compliments for her hosting skills. I stood in the corner, feeling like a guest at my own celebration. And then I overheard her talking to a group of people by the bar. "Zara's been such a wreck lately," she said, her voice dripping with mock sympathy. "I honestly don't know how she's functioning. I've had to pick up so much of the slack." Something inside me snapped. I marched over to her, my heart pounding. "Layla, can I talk to you for a minute?" She looked surprised but followed me into the kitchen. "What's up?" she asked, feigning innocence. "I heard what you said," I told her, my voice shaking with anger. "You've been undermining me, spreading rumors, and making me feel like I'm not good enough." "Why? What did I ever do to you?" Her expression shifted, the mask slipping. For the first time, I saw the coldness in her eyes. "You're overreacting," she said, crossing her arms. "Maybe you should learn to take a joke." "This isn't a joke, Layla," I said. "You've been toxic, and I've been too scared to admit it because I thought I needed you. But I don't. I don't need someone who makes me feel small." Her face hardened. "Fine, if that's how you feel. Maybe we shouldn't be friends." I nodded, tears streaming down my face. "Maybe we shouldn't. Walking away from Layla felt like tearing off a bandage, painful but necessary. I expected to feel relief, but all I felt was emptiness. I second-guessed myself constantly. Had I been too harsh? Was I wrong to cut her out? But then something surprising happened. My life began to heal. Without Layla's constant negativity, I started to see my own worth more clearly. I reconnected with old friends, threw myself into my work, and even started therapy to unpack the damage she'd done. Months later, I ran into her at a coffee shop. She was laughing with a group of people, her charm as radiant as ever. For a moment, our eyes met. She smiled, as if nothing had ever happened, but I just nodded and walked away. I had finally learned the importance of setting boundaries, of protecting my peace. Losing Layla wasn't the loss I had feared, it was freedom. And for the first time in years, I felt whole.